saying? True confessions here? I love State of the Union night. For politics fans, this is like Christmas morning on a January night. It's the constitutionally mandated State of the Union. Yes. As our president lays out his version of how we're doing and what we ought to be doing better. It's very exciting. It's exciting every year, even when news isn't made. This year, both the speech made some news and the theater around the speech made a tiny little bit of news. One moment of pure political theater tonight was a quasi-reprise of Congressman Joe Wilson's "You lie" moment from last year's speech on health reform. As President Obama was describing last week's Supreme Court ruling, allowing corporations the world over to spend without limit on American politicians and political campaigns, incredibly, a justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Samuel Alito, shook his head and said, "Not true," or possibly simply not true. A Supreme Court spokeswoman told NBC's Pete Williams tonight, just moments ago, that Justice Samuel Alito, who was himself unavailable for comment on the heckling. Pete notes that Supreme Court justices who attend the State of the Union traditionally never applaud or signal approval or disapproval for a president's statements during the speech. It was for that reason that when William Rehnquist was Chief Justice, he actually discouraged members of the court from even going to the speech. He said at one point, "We look like bumps on a log." That apparently is no longer true. Now Supreme Court justices look like Republican members of Congress muttering at the president. President Obama's actual address tonight was rhetorically feisty, ending with a powerful "We don't quit, I don't quit." At the same time, a lot of his specific proposals were dealing from the politically conservative side of the deck.
Tough decisions about opening new offshore areas for oil and gas development, continued investment in advanced biofuels and clean coal technologies, restore the pay-as-you-go law for a bipartisan fiscal commission, proposing a new small business tax credit, eliminate all capital gains taxes on small business investment. We cut taxes, we cut taxes, we cut taxes, we cut taxes, we cut taxes. Now let me repeat. We cut taxes.
Cutting the capital gains tax, drill, baby, drill, clean coal, a Republican and Democratic deficit club, tax cuts, tax cuts, tax cuts, get your tax cuts here. Those are not progressive caucus talking points. Still, though, the president's supporters will likely be happy to have seen him box Republicans into not standing and applauding for populist stuff like getting the banks to pay back the bailout money. And those frustrated with Republicans on health reform will doubtless enjoy a little slow-mo footage of one desperate Republican congressman, we think it's Patrick McHenry, flailing his arms and reminding his GOP colleagues that they're supposed to stand up, pretend that they like the general idea of health reform.